I think the power of political cartooning is the ability of summarize some complicated, complex issues in a single image. So it's sometimes for someone reading a newspaper or news on the internet, it may be kind of hard to understand some things, you know, because geopolitics are always changing. So I think the political cartooning can help the reader highlighting some things you could not understand so easily reading an article, you know, or simply reading the news, the headlines. Thanks to the so-called globalization, you know, you have very similar problems. You can see very similar problems. If you go to a Brazilian favela or to a Palestinian refugee camp, you can see very similar situations, you know. And I used to say we have common enemies. So the enemy of the Palestinian is also the enemy of the black, poor, young people in the favelas, or the black people living in the United States, or people live in Middle East or Asia or Africa, you know. So I think that's why it's important to show solidarity to other people, because in the end of the day, we are suffering similar problems from the same enemy. Along the history, the artists found themselves in trouble for giving opinions or making cartoons. The artists must to learn how to deal with criticism and even with defamation campaigns, because you don't have to agree with my points or agree with my cartoons. But what happens sometimes is not a matter of having a different opinion, but to attack me, you know, to defamate me. So this is the strategy, for example, from those who support Israel. It's not about not supporting my views, but to attack me for defending Palestinians, calling me anti-Semite, Nazi, this kind of things. So unfortunately, if you are dealing with politics and art, you must to be prepared for this kind of things. I started to use drawing and associated to social movement or politics. It was in 1990 when I started to work for leftist trade union bulletins, you know, and then I had contact with political and social issues, and I started to make cartoons to be published on bulletins. And in that time, at first, I was not involved personally in these issues, but along the time, getting in touch with these issues, I decided to involve myself in some issues, for example, the police brutality or even the Palestinian cause, you know. It was good for some people, especially the companies, the government, the very well-known brands like Coca-Cola, Adidas, Nike, etc. But for the ordinary people, I don't see how it could be good, especially for those people living in favelas. Many of them removed to build infrastructure for the cup, you know, and the real estate also profited from the games, you know, building stadiums which after the cup are useless, you know what I mean? And many things, you know, corruption was very active in that time, etc., etc., etc. So in the end, I don't see how the cup benefit the people. Benefit, as usual, a few people, rich people, companies, mainstream media, etc., but not the ordinary people. We cannot choose the most important issues, because all the issues are important, you know. But there are some issues, at least for me, that touch me more personally. So the Palestinian cause, for example, and the police brutality in Brazil are issues that touch me personally. It's not a matter of importance, but the way I perceive this in a more personal level, you know. So Palestinian cause and police brutality in Brazil are issues too emotional to me.